Welcome everybody, and welcome to the second appearance of Bhante Saranapala at the studio. And this talk, the title of this talk is The Four Foundations of Mindfulness. The umbrella title of the talks is The End of Suffering, which was also the title of the first talk, which obviously condensing everything into 1 2-hour session. Very sort of did the best he could with that. And given that so many people got so much benefit and inspiration from the first talk, I thought I would love Bhante to come back, and he was happy to do so. And then I thought this time we'd have 4 talks, each with its own specific title, so he would have an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into the topics. So today's talk 1, is The Four Foundations of Mindfulness, the Keys to Freedom. And the format of the talks, in case you didn't notice, all of them will be the same, which is that he'll talk approximately till 10 to 2, and then, or 10 to 3, excuse me, and then there will be a 10-minute or so break, and we are very fortunate today because Yogi here at the studio, Saroj has brought samosa for people, fresh baked samosa. If you are inclined to give a donation on behalf of the samosa, you may do so. That will also go to Bhante. And then after that, there will be a half-hour guided meditation, approximately 3 to 3:30. And then after that, there will be questions and answers. After the talk, if you have any questions, part of the reason for the format of this talk is you may write them down, maybe punch it into your phone, because the idea is that whilst doing the sitting guided meditation, perhaps your question might be answered, or it might evolve in some way. So then after you've finished your meditation, then you will be able to engage with that question once you've finished your meditation. The second talk on April 15th is Dependent Origination, another key teaching of the Buddha, the causal chain creating bondage and suffering. And then third talk on May 13th, Karma and Reincarnation, subtitle Sowing the Seeds of Happiness. And the final talk, Samsara and Nirvana, the Wheel of Suffering at its End. And that's Saturday, June 10th. After that talk, there will be a 90-minute yin class from 4:30 to 6 p.m., which Bhante will participate in. The first half hour will be guided meditation, and then the last hour will be me conducting a yin class, so that'll be fun and exciting. On this poster, there's more at the front desk, so if you belong to an organization or you're somewhere where you think other people may be interested in these talks, you're welcome to take a poster and bring it with you, or if you like it for yourself. And I should say that Bhante goes around, and monks like him go around giving service, and their life is basically in service to the community, sharing this information to uplift other people, and he does so free of charge. And so there will be, after the talk, there will be a donation jar out by the front door. So if you feel motivated to do so, you may give a donation to support his temple, which is in Mississauga, and their charitable activities. What else did I want to say? I first discovered Buddhism, the Buddha's teachings, when I was 17 years old, and I went to visit my sister at Queen's University, and I was really looking for some answers. I felt like the life that was presented to me by society did not seem like a very satisfactory life. I've told this story before. I came from a reasonably affluent family. My father was a corporate lawyer on Bay Street, and so he had the fruits of this society, and the people in my neighborhood had the fruits of this society, the status, prestige, wealth, and it didn't seem to be doing much for their level of happiness. So I thought there must be some other way which produces genuine happiness. And when I opened this particular book called What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula, it was like a brick wall fell on me, and I was like, this, finally someone knows. That is, the Buddha knows. And there's a particular sermon, and that's the Four Foundations of Mindfulness, called in Pali the Satipatthana Sutta, which is considered a core teaching of the Buddha and the Buddha's instruction on how to liberate the mind from all suffering. And I just wanted to read the beginning of that. So in English translation, approximately, the discourse on the arousing of mindfulness. or I think it's sometimes called the setting up of the four foundations of mindfulness. And as most Buddhist talks begin, because they are translated through an oral tradition, begins with, "Thus have I heard." Thus have I heard, at one time the Blessed One was living in the Kurus at Kama Sadama, a market town of the Kuru people. Then the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus as follows, quote, "This is the only way, O bhikkhus," which means monks, "for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the destruction of suffering and grief." I'm getting emotional, as you can see. "For reaching the right path, for the attainment of nirvana, namely the four arousings, the four foundations of mindfulness." And on that note, I'd like to bring in Auntie Sanapal.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I think you need to bit change. Maybe a bit down.
Down?
Yeah, yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, David, for the invitation and nice introduction. And thank you all for coming to this talk. Thank you very much. I think last talk was well received by the people and the friends in Kitchener-Waterloo. I think we had nice conversation, and so David thought that I should be visiting his yoga studio for more talks. So as a result of that, I'm here. So what he said in English, I would like to recite that in Pali. So, because I'm the monk who likes to stay with the original teachings. You may not understand, but assume that you understand. Okay? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Ekayano ayang bhikkhave sattanang visuddhya soka paridevanang samatikkamaya dukkha domanassanang atthangamaya nyayassa adhigamaya Nibbanassa sacchikiriyaya yadidang chattaro satipattanati. I hope you got it. Well, I'm so happy to be here to spend 2 hours with all of you, to share my own experience and also to share whatever I know. John is also here. I just noticed you, okay. So, if we can stay focused on what we are going to learn today, And if you can pay attention to this talk without any reservation, like the doubt or confusion or whatever, then I think it will spark something in you. At the end of this talk, I think you will get something. I think it's natural at the beginning. People are doubtful. People are not sure. People are confused. I think it is from the confusion that we go to light. That's the nature of the human beings. So now what am I going to talk about this? This is the key teaching of the Buddha called the meditation. Meditation is very important. At the beginning of this discourse of the Buddha, he says that this is the direct path. This is the direct path that leads to the purification of the human beings and to overcoming the sufferings, to transform your grief and stress and depression, anxiety to something positive, and to gain the higher knowledge and to realize Nibbana. Now, when we say Nibbana or Nirvana, it's not a particular state. And I think we human beings have this natural tendency to hang on to something. We want to go somewhere. We want to cling to something. I think that's where we feel kind of comfortable. But this meditation is not about clinging to something. This is all about letting go. Now this Nibbana or Nirvana can be experienced only from the complete letting go. Now when we say Nibbana or Nirvana, it is the complete freedom from all sufferings and pains. Okay? So now, to gain this freedom from suffering, you don't need to be a Buddhist. You don't need to be a Buddhist monk. Even as a layperson, you can gain this liberation, this freedom. But to get the freedom from the suffering, then you have to follow the path. You have to follow the steps. It's like when you go somewhere. Thanks to modern technology, now we have GPS. We all have smartphones. I also have a smartphone. I'm using an iPhone. I'm a monk of the 21st century, so so that's why people call me the urban Buddhist monk. So even as monk, I have to follow the Madam Siri. You know Madam Siri? You don't know? In the GPS, whoever is giving the instruction, that's Madam Siri. You had no clue, huh? I thought you did. So you have to follow her to get to the destination. And if you don't follow her or take the wrong the road, she would keep telling over and over again. So anyways, so like that, we all have to follow this path, these instructions, to get to the what we are trying to experience. Now, before following the instructions, first we need to understand the conflict. We all have a conflict. What is that conflict would be? Do you have any clue? Huh? Attachment? Okay. So, okay, attachment is the conflict. Okay. Could there be anything else? Ego? Okay. So your ego is conflicting with everything. No matter whoever you are, is conflicting with everything. And what else?
Our inner voices.
Inner voices like?
Good voices, bad voices, things that tell us to do this, that conflict with this or this or this.
Oh,
Confusion
okay.
within ourselves.
Okay. So here we go. Could there be anything else?
Expectations.
Expectations? What kind of expectations? All kinds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fear.
Fear? Okay. Perceptions?
Habits.
Resistance?
Habits.
Habits?
Doubts.
Doubts?
Judgment.
Judgment? So these are the characteristics of the conflict. Can we say that? Okay. Now, this is in line with modern science that we have to understand. There is, I think people normally don't tend to look at this perspective, this conflict. It is a conflict between two minds. Two minds. Do you know what are these two minds? My God, you thought we are here to learn, but he's asking questions. Well, that's me, Yeah, two minds.
The yes and the no.
Yes and a no. Yeah, yes mind and no mind.
Conscious and our subconscious.
Conscious mind and a subconscious mind? Okay. I think you're almost there.
Yourself, and then there's the mind that's observing yourself.
Okay. There's the self and the mind in a word?
Observing yourself.
Okay.
Because you can talk to yourself. So
Yeah.
the talk to yourself is
Oh, okay. Okay.
duality.
Duality, yeah?
My son, when he was younger, he used to do things, and he would say, it wasn't me, it was my brain. My brain just told me to do this.
Ah, I think he's talking about one type of mind that I am thinking of. It's the conflict between the thinking mind and the emotional mind. Now it explains everything, no? Now, thinking mind is like, let's say, 5 plus 5 is 10. That's the thinking mind, right? And then thinking mind, thinks. And the emotional mind, emotion never thinks. It is also, in psychology, it is known the conflict between the reasoning and the emotion. Now, in this conflict, which one wins? Which one? The emotion? One you feed. The one you feed, that wins, no? So, which mind do you feed all the time? Do you feed the thinking mind or the emotional mind? Or the reasoning or the emotion or drive? It is.
I think the reasoning mind is probably the emotional mind.
Not just probably. Always. If you observe your life, it is the emotion that always wins. Now, I can give you some examples. Let's say in Buddhist teachings, in Buddhist tradition, people go to the temple and they observe what they call the 5 precepts, 5 training principles. Now, the 5 training principles are refraining from taking life, refraining from stealing, refraining from sexual misconduct, refraining from lying, and refraining from alcohol and drugs. Because they think, oh, it's good to follow, right? Good to follow these precepts. Now, although they observe the 5 precepts at the temple, when they go back to the society, what happens? Their emotion mind says, forget about the precepts you observed at the temple. Right? So the emotion says, you hurt someone, you steal, you engage in sexual misconduct, you lie, you consume alcohol and drugs. So in this conflict, the emotion always wins. Why? Thinking mind is very weak. Very weak. Let's say we get angry. We crave for things. We are jealous. We are greedy. We hate people. No? So then we do all this. Why? Because the emotional mind is very powerful. But the thing is, all these things are happening in our day-to-day life unconsciously. Unconsciously. We don't know. We are not aware of these things. So we are practicing these 4 foundations of mindfulness is to win over the emotion, to become conscious of the unconscious processes. Now, let's say when you go home, when you go to a restaurant, when you are driving, or when you go to work, there are so many things are happening unconsciously. When you let the unconscious mind become active and powerful, then that's where this conflict gives birth to more and more and more suffering and pains. But to gain freedom from this suffering, what we are doing is to train our mind, like at the beginning of this discourse, Buddha says that Sattanang Visuddhya, to purify the minds. In fact, we all are practicing meditation to purify our own mind. Now, when we say purifying our own mind, then you might ask a question, so what's wrong with this mind? Well, you know what it is. Your mind gets angry. Your mind is jealous. Your mind is craving for so many things. Your mind is greedy. Your mind is confused. Your mind is full of ego. It has conceit. So now, all this, lead to a lot of sufferings and pains, the problems, conflicts in our own life. So then we understand all these conflicts, all these sufferings and pains and the problems in our life are due to the unconsciousness. We are unconscious of what is happening. So we are training our mind to be conscious of the unconscious processes taking place every day in our life. Now, how do we do this? Now, in the Western world, when the Western scholars read the text in Pali, they try to translate this word called sati. In the Pali, the Sanskrit word the Buddha used is called sati. Sati has been translated into English as mindfulness. Now in the Western world, this mindfulness practice is being used for the secular purposes. Like, you can see everywhere mindfulness practice is a popular practice now because everybody is highly talking about it. Even when I and my friend were talking about this, I kind of proposed him, about this title, this special program. It's called Mindful Matchmaking Service with the Urban Buddhist Monk. Because I said, all I did was, introducing friends, two friends, So now, like that, mindfulness is being used for everything. Now, but this mindfulness, the word has a deeper meaning. Now, you use that, this conflict is the attachment, anger, this and that. But to solve all these conflicts, mindfulness is the key quality to be cultivated by us, right? So we need to become mindful. Now, this word sati has two meanings. The real meaning of sati in Sanskrit form is called smriti, which has the meaning called the memory. Sati or smriti means memory. In other words, to remember. Remember. And also, sati means to become aware. Okay? Aware, conscious. Now, in this mindfulness practice, we have to understand these two meanings. We have to keep in mind these two meanings. in meditation. Let's say right now your mind, is it here in this room or is it somewhere else? Your mind is thinking, isn't it? It's not here, right? It's here, not here. If your mind is not here, then you're going to miss the whole thing. So now, nature of the mind is to go out. Nature of the mind is to go out after the memories from the past. Lot of memories. We have a lot of memories, lot of stories, lot of experiences. So then mind likes to go after those memories and entertain you with those memories. That's what the mind does, right? But then by doing so, this mind creates a lot of conflicts and sufferings in our life. It makes us miserable. So then, in this mindfulness practice, what we are teaching to the people is based on the inside the wisdom of the Buddha. Every time your mind goes out, follow the instruction. Remember the instruction. What is the instruction? If your mind goes out, notice it and bring it back to the present moment. So you have to remember this instruction. Okay? And become aware, mindful of what is happening right now. Now in this Satipatthana meditation, the 4 foundations of mindfulness practice, although there are 4 foundations of mindfulness practice, we can observe all these 4 at the same time. Now, how do we do this? There are 4 foundations. Now, when there is an emotion, when an emotion arises in the mind, then there are a lot of physical manifestations of the emotional reactions in the body. Now let me give you an example. This is going to change your life, by the way, if you can understand this. Okay? Trust me, it's going to transform your life. When the anger arises in the mind, what could be the physical manifestations of this emotional reaction? When you get angry, what do you feel physically?
Blood pressure rises.
Oh, blood pressure rises. Then your heart beats fast. Maybe you lose your control and you see some rashes. Your face goes red.
Breath shallow. Shallow, short, choppy breathing.
That's right. And then you can't breathe. Right? So there are a lot of things. These are the reactions. Right? So this physically, then you feel these things. You become observed. Like when you get mad, when you get angry, like you observe all these physical manifestations. Now, becoming aware of all the physical manifestations of the emotional reactions is called kayanupassana in Pali. That means observing the body. Right now, let's say, what is happening to this body? What do you feel? Is your body relaxed? Or do you feel any discomfort? Are you comfortable with your body right now? Or are you uncomfortable? Are you feeling good? So, what kind of feelings do you have right now? So, if you can observe all this, let's say in this sitting posture, maybe you're feeling some discomforts in your back if you have back pain. Or maybe when your feet touch the ground, maybe you're feeling comfortable or uncomfortable. Now, what kind of sensations are you feeling at this moment? So, when a thought, when an emotion arises in the mind, now what kind of sensations are you feeling? So, this is the second foundation of mindfulness. It is known as the Vedananupassana, like observing the sensations. And then as you observe the body and the feelings, and of course there are a lot of emotions. A lot of emotions are arising in the mind. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're worried. Maybe you're angry. Maybe there's a sensual lust. Maybe there's a craving. Maybe there's a desire. Maybe there's a jealousy. Maybe there's an envy. So all these are, although these are not translated in the text as mind, but in Western psychology we see these as emotions. So then the third foundation of mindfulness is to become aware of all these emotions right at this moment. Are you craving for something? Or are you angry? Are you jealous? Or is your mind free from these emotions? So you become aware of all the emotional states. And this is called Chittanupassana, observing the emotion. And then the fourth foundation of mindfulness is like, when all these things are taking place, the observing the body, observing the feelings, observing the emotions, then how are you interpreting all these things? Like, all these are actually physical manifestation of emotional reaction, and the sensation, feelings, emotions, all are taking place through these senses. Let's see, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, all these senses. So when you look at an object, eye object, when you see something out there, when you feel, when you hear a noise, a voice, when you smell something, when you taste food, when you touch something, now what is going on here? How are you interpreting them? Maybe you interpret them as, I love this. I like it. I want it. Right? So then, in this, what you do is, you just, observe how you're interpreting your own experiences. So this is called Dhammanupassana. Observing the mental phenomena. Okay, mental phenomena. So do you understand? Did you get all this for? Like I was trying to, rather than explaining this in a very typical traditional way, I was trying to explain it very simple way for you to understand. Like how you can liberate all this from yourself from all these experiences. So then, all these things take place in our life unconsciously. Let's see, when you are talking to somebody, when you go for a coffee at Tim Horton, or when you go to a restaurant, when you go to a party, see, there are a lot of things are happening. At that moment, whatever emotional reactions you're giving, all these are happening unconsciously. So then, all these experiences are being suppressed in our life. Okay? So now, in meditation, what we do is we don't suppress them. We become fully conscious. I know what is happening here. I think physically I'm feeling uncomfortable. I think, I'm angry. I think I feel, my chest is becoming kind of tight. I think I'm not breathing properly. I think I'm feeling high blood pressure. Or I think I'm not breathing properly. It's like my breath is becoming shorter and shorter. I need more oxygen. So whatever is taking place in the present moment, as a Satipatthana meditation practitioner, your task is only to become fully aware. Okay? So now, you become aware of this right inside, within yourself, not outside. Now, if you go outside, you are in big trouble. Buddha gives a nice simile. I think I told this story last time, no? The monkey? I told, no? Yeah, I told. So it's like that. Every time your mind goes out, I think not everyone heard this story, no? Oh, you are not here. Okay. Okay, new face. Okay, I think then I should tell this story. Then it will make it very clear. See, it's like, let's say a hunter goes out to a forest to catch a monkey. And then he has this, the trap is called the tar trap to catch the monkey. So the hunter puts it somewhere, and from the trees, there are monkeys who are watching all this. There's one monkey goes there and he thinks it's nice, and he touches it with his right hand. And then what happened to the monkey? His right hand got stuck. Now, to remove the right hand, it uses the left one. That also got stuck. Now, the monkey thinks, now I have 2 feet. Let me use the right foot to remove the hands. It also got stuck. Now it uses left one, left foot. That also got stuck. This monkey now thinks, oh, I'm stuck with 2 hands, 2 feet. All I have now is just my mouth. Let me use the force of my mouth to remove the both hands and both feet. Then what happened? That also got stuck. So this monkey is completely stuck, and then the hunter comes and picks it up and takes it home. So the Buddha said, I told you this story to teach you this specific deep lesson. That is, when your attention, when your mind, when attention goes out to the, let's say, eye objects, ear objects, nose objects, and the tongue object, and the body object, then you're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck. You will be chained. You will get attached. So then, Buddha says, when you remain inside, when you remain inside, you can free yourself. You're not going to get stuck with anything. So this meditation practice is all about training yourself to be right here and now. So there is this phrase in Pali, we say, Parimukhang sating upattapetva. Parimukhang sating upattapetva means keeping your attention right inside. Like, let's say, whatever your experience is about this, let's say this is the cycle, and you remain inside this cycle. Inside this circle, you don't go beyond the circle. If you go beyond the circle, you're going to be in big trouble. You're going to get stuck with everything. So as a meditation practitioner, your task is to keep your attention inside. So if you go beyond the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, then you will be in big trouble. So then you train yourself to be right here, and in fact that's the whole meaning. Satipatthana, like always going inwards, not going outwards, remaining inside. So when you remain inside, then you see, now I experience this physical comfort or discomfort. I think at this moment I'm angry. I'm free from anger. Little while ago I was panting. Now I see that panting is gone. And then I had blood pressure. Now I see that I am free from that blood pressure. So whatever these things are, the body, feeling, emotion, and your interpretation to all these experiences, you just keep, being mindful. The thing is, nowadays, when people feel all this, they are looking for an immediate solution. Immediate solution. It's like When you insert a linear tuner vending machine, you press the button. Let's say Coca-Cola. You want Coca-Cola? Like this. If it doesn't come immediately, what do? Poor vending machine, you kick it out. No? It happens to people. So when people go through this conflict, this emotional trouble, they also look for an immediate solution. But there is no immediate solution to this emotional conflict that we all have. You need to be very patient. It is like, let's say there is this fan, right? And if you switch it off, it will take at least maybe 1 minute, right, to completely stop it, no? Or if you put it full, and then it will take 2-3 minutes to stop completely. But if you just anticipate the fan to be stopped right now like this, then you're going to get mad. You're going to be more angry. It is also like the hot plate, right? You kept it on for 1 hour maybe, right? But to cool it down, you have to switch it off. But it's not going to be cool immediately. It's going to take some time. In the same way, when we meditate, right, our anger, our conflict, our suffering, our pain, our problem is not going to go away immediately. It's going to take some time. So then, with much patience, what you do is you become conscious of all the experiences taking place in this moment, whatever they are. And then, as you continue to become conscious and mindful and aware, then you see a lot of things, a lot of changes are going to take place. Then you feel a big change inside. Then you realize, let's say, when you come to a meditation session, then you say, I want freedom right now. I want to fix it right now. It's also like when you get sick. How sometimes you rush to the doctor and you expect the doctor to heal you immediately. But the doctor would say, okay, I can prescribe you this, you take it, but it's going to take some time. So in the same way, you have to meditate, cultivate these 4 foundations of mindfulness, and slowly, you realize there is a change taking place inside yourself. Then, as if you were to be very angry, then you realize after a while, my anger is cooling down, right? So, we need to be very patient. So, to cool down, to switch off all these negative things, first, there are 2 things to be done. You have to switch off, let go all the negative things, and then you have to switch on it's called the inner button. Switch it on. And then you realize, slowly, bit by bit, there is a change taking place within yourself. you're becoming calmer, you're becoming relaxed. In fact, the whole purpose of this 4 foundations of mindfulness practice is to relax. This is all about relaxation. Relax. Just withdraw your attention from everything else. You withdraw your attention from the past and the future, because if you allow yourself to be in the past, it's going to create more worries, more pains, more sufferings. And if you allow yourself to be in the future, it's going to make you anxious. You're going to suffer from anxiety. So what you do is you just remain inside and be in the present moment, and with much patience just keep observing whatever is happening, the body, feeling, emotion, and your interpretation. So this meditation practice is all about becoming conscious of the unconscious processes taking place in our life. So let's say when you get angry with someone, instead of yelling, and you know that you're angry, you're suffering from it, and if you keep getting angry, screaming, yelling, or throwing things, is going to make you more angry. So then your task is just become conscious. I am angry right now. I am angry. And then shift your attention. In psychology, it's also called shifting attention. It's a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift is all about getting to know the reality. Now, this shifting attention is, let's see, if you're paying attention to something that you don't like, it could be a person, your partner, your husband, your wife, your colleague, your child, and then of course, if you just focusing on that person's negative things, you're going to get mad. But the same person also has done something good to you someday. So then you shift your attention to something positive. It's like, let's say, if your mom is yelling at you for something, of course it could anger you. But then you shift your attention to something positive. Oh, my mom is angry today or yelling at me. Maybe something is really bothering her. But I know she did so much good for me. There was time she made breakfast for me, gave me lunch, gave me dinner, took me here and there. She was so nice to me. So then what do? You shift your attention to something positive. Okay? And then what happens? When you shift your attention to something positive, your anger, the emotion, begins to go away. You can apply the same thing to anything in your day-to-day life. So your attention goes out, you shift your attention to something inside. When you keep it inside, then you feel calmer, happier, peaceful. And this is how we purify our own mind, through these 4 foundations of mindfulness practice.